On the 25th of October 2017, the most famous woman in cryptocurrency walked through Sofia Airport in Bulgaria, boarded a budget flight to Athens, and stepped off the edge of the world. She has not been seen since. Behind her, she left around 3 million investors, somewhere near $4 billion, and a cryptocurrency called OneCoin that she had sold to the world as the next Bitcoin. There was just one problem with OneCoin. It didn't exist, not the way she said it did. There was no blockchain, no coins being mined, nothing for the money to actually buy, except a number in a database that a company in Sofia could set to whatever it liked, and millions of people bought it anyway, because of her. This is the story of how Dr. Ruja Ignatova built a $4 billion empire on a coin that was never real, and the two very different theories about where she is tonight. Ruja Ignatova was not a street hustler. That was the whole point. She was born in Bulgaria and raised in Germany. She earned a doctorate in law. She did a stint at McKinsey, one of the most prestigious consulting firms in the world. On paper, she was exactly the kind of person you were supposed to trust. And she understood something most con artists never figure out. People don't fall for a scam because it looks like a scam. They fall for it because it looks like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity delivered by someone who seems smarter and richer than they are. So she built that someone, Dr. Ruja, the visionary, the financier with the foreign accent and the magazine covers, who had supposedly seen the future before everyone else. In 2014 in Sofia, she launched it, OneCoin. The pitch was simple, and it was perfect. You missed Bitcoin. You watched a few early believers get rich, and you kicked yourself. Well, here was your second chance. OneCoin would be bigger, safer, easier. It would be, in her favorite phrase, the Bitcoin killer. But here's the clever part, the part that turned a scam into a machine. You didn't just buy OneCoin, you bought education. OneCoin sold educational packages, courses that were supposed to teach you about cryptocurrency and trading. They ranged from 100 euros to over 100,000. And each package came with tokens you could use to mine your own OneCoins. The courses, it would later turn out, were largely plagiarized, copied from other people's material. They were almost beside the point, because the real way you made money wasn't from the coins or the courses. It was from recruiting the next person and getting them to recruit the next one, a pyramid dressed in the language of the future. And it worked on a scale that is genuinely hard to picture. OneCoin spread across the world, Europe, Africa, Asia, the Middle East. Whole communities went in together. People remortgaged homes, they put in their savings, their family's savings, and then they went out and proudly sold it to their friends. At the very top of it all stood Dr. Ruja, and in June 2016, she stepped onto a stage at Wembley Arena in London. Fireworks, pounding music, thousands of people on their feet in a red ball gown to tell them all that they were about to be rich. It was the peak of the spectacle. It was also, more or less, the last time the world would see her in the full light, smiling before it all came apart. To understand what OneCoin actually was, you have to understand what a real cryptocurrency is. A real cryptocurrency, Bitcoin for instance, lives on a public blockchain. That's a shared ledger, a record of every coin and every transaction that anyone on Earth can inspect. No single person owns it. No single company can quietly rewrite it. That public checkable record is the entire point. It's what makes the coins real. Now hold OneCoin up to that light. OneCoin had no public blockchain. There was no shared ledger anyone could check. The coins weren't being mined on any real network. Their value was simply a number that OneCoin typed into its own private database and then announced to the faithful. And that number did something no real currency does. It only ever went up. Week after week, the price of OneCoin rose, smoothly, beautifully, forever, because the people selling it were the same people setting the price. There was no market. There was no risk. There was just a graph that always pointed up, which is the most seductive lie in finance, and one of the easiest to draw when none of it is real. And you couldn't really get your money back out either. The internal exchange where you were supposed to be able to sell your coins was capped, throttled, and eventually shut down. The money overwhelmingly flowed in one direction only. For a long time, the believers never saw any of this, but the people running it did. That line is from inside OneCoin's own communications, later surfaced in the United States court record. We are not mining actually, but telling people shit. They knew. There was no mining. There were no coins. There was a story and a database and a sales force of millions who believed every word. And Ruja herself? She had thought very clearly about how this might end. In a memo that prosecutors would later point to, she's said to have laid out her possible exit strategies. And one of them, in plain language, was to take the money and run and blame someone else for the collapse. She wasn't a true believer who lost her way. By the evidence, she knew what OneCoin was from very near the start. The only open question was when and how she would leave. By 2016, the world was starting to notice. Financial regulators in country after country began issuing public warnings about OneCoin. Banks started freezing its accounts. Journalists began pulling at the threads. And in the United States, prosecutors were quietly building a case and preparing a sealed indictment with Ruja Ignatova's name on it. She seems to have known the walls were closing in. And then, on the 25th of October 2017, she did the one thing no one running a $4 billion company is supposed to be able to do. She disappeared. She boarded that Ryanair flight from Sofia to Athens, reportedly tipped off that arrest was coming, traveling on documents that let her slip the net, and after Athens, the trail simply stops. No confirmed sighting, no verified contact, nothing. The reckoning landed on everyone but her. Her brother, Konstantin Ignatov, who had stepped in to help run OneCoin, was arrested at Los Angeles Airport in 2019. He pleaded guilty and became a cooperating witness. OneCoin's co-founder, Sebastian Greenwood, was arrested and convicted. And an American lawyer named Mark Scott was convicted of laundering roughly $400 million of OneCoin's money through a web of offshore funds. One by one, the people around her were caught, charged, and sentenced. But the woman at the center of it, the one whose face had sold the whole thing, was gone. In 2022, the FBI added Ruja Ignatova to its 10 most wanted fugitives list, one of the very few women ever to make it. Today, the reward for information leading to her arrest stands at $5 million. And that's where the story splits into two. The first theory is that she got away clean, that with her wealth, reported fake passports, including by some accounts, a Russian one, and possibly altered appearance, Dr. Ruja is alive right now, somewhere, the most successful con artist on earth, hiding in plain sight. The second theory is darker. In 2022, a BBC investigation, citing a leaked document, reported that Ruja may have been murdered back in 2018, killed on a yacht and dumped in the sea, on the orders of a powerful criminal figure entangled with her money, to make sure she could never be caught and never talk. That second theory is exactly that, a theory reported, unconfirmed. No body has ever been found. No version has ever been proven, which means that after everything, the billions, the arrests, the years of searching, the most basic question about the Cryptoqueen is still unanswered. Is she even alive? Step back from all of it, and here's the part that should stay with you. The coin was never real, but the money was. Around $4 billion by the prosecutor's count, and much of it was not casino money or hedge fund money. It was ordinary people's savings in dozens of countries, including places that could least afford to lose it. People who didn't gamble what they could spare, but bet what they had, because a doctor in a ball gown told them this was their one chance to catch up. And some of them still believe. Even now, with the indictments and the convictions and the empty database all on the public record, there are people who insist OneCoin is real, and that Dr. Ruja will return one day to make them whole. That belief is the con's darkest souvenir. It outlived the coin. She is a different kind of ghost than the others we've followed on this channel. Their fortunes are lost. Their stories are, in a sense, finished. Hers isn't. The money is gone, but the woman herself is a living question mark, either the smartest fugitive alive or a body the sea never gave back. The case is open. As you watch this, somewhere on that most wanted list, her name is still there, waiting. So what do you think actually happened to the Cryptoqueen, alive and hiding with a new face and a fake passport, or dead at the bottom of the sea? Tell me below. And here's the lesson she sold 3 million people the hard way. A real cryptocurrency is one you can check, a public ledger, and keys that you hold. If a coin's value is just a number some company promises is going up, you don't own anything. You're a mark. The hardware wallet link is in the description. Next week, the biggest exchange in the world, 850,000 Bitcoin, and the day they all simply disappeared. Namek Gox. Subscribe so you don't miss it.